I'm Rachel and this is Dylan, and welcome to another episode of our Vanlife Australia series. In this episode we explore the extremely underrated Great Keppel Island, stay at a beautiful camp and experience a roller coaster of events when our van Daisy breaks down. Waiting for our third tow truck of the trip! Trying to stay positive.
You can't push time. You can't push time. But you can ride out every way.
Radio up and the blinds pulled down. You love it when nobody's around. I wanna call out round town, but you bite my lip, don't make a sound. I'll be damned if I'm leaving without you. So give me a minute to catch my breath. Take what's yours, I'll take what's left. I'm used to coming out to second best.
So we were just walking along the beach and saw this thing in the water and saw that it was a manta ray. So I started running to put on my snorkel staff, get my camera and jump in with it, and I was just running to try and swim with it, and then it swam away. But we're gonna go and try and find a snorkel spot. Don't know how it's gonna be because it's a bit windy today, but let's go. Despite the low visibility, the snorkelling at this beach on Great Keppel was amazing. Stingrays, giant clams and sleeping turtles, what more could you want?
You can find another shelter you can call your own. You can't push time. You can't push time. But you can ride out every wave like an alibi. Your past won't leave. Your past won't leave. It'll stay with them like it stays with me. You won't break free. You won't break free. 'Cause death is gonna get you like it's gonna get me.
Waiting for our third tow truck of the trip. Trying to stay positive. We were just driving along the highway and then randomly felt the car lurch just a tiny little bit. Didn't lose any power, just kept going because there was like a rest stop about 4 k's up the road, so we're like, oh, we were going to pull over there anyway. And as soon as I pull into it and start gearing down, we just lose all power in the van. So we literally pulled over right there and the road's right over there. And now we're waiting for a mechanic. Trying to remain positive amidst a breakdown is always easier said than done, especially when multiple mechanics don't know what the problem with your van is or just don't have time to help you.
What do we want to do?
Sit in the van and cry.
On our first tow, we got towed to Gladstone, which turns out is a pretty small place, and we were recommended to get towed to Rockhampton the next day, where there would hopefully be more available mechanics to help us. So this is our spot for what might be a couple of nights, tucked away so that hopefully we get a bit of shade. Oh dear. If it wasn't for all the industrial noises, you'd think we're in a beautiful campsite. We got towed back to Rockhampton on Saturday morning. Plan was to just wait, camp in the mechanic's car park until Monday when the mechanic opens. And at that point, we were told that it was a fuel pump issue, and we knew that it might be expensive, and we knew that it might take some time, like there might not be availability immediately. So we were kind of ready for that, but not really ready for what we got. The guys here at the mechanic that came recommended, they're booked out for 3 weeks. But then when they actually came out to have a look at the van, they couldn't find what was wrong with it. They had a very brief look, but they were essentially like, nope, it's not the fuel pump. Couldn't help us, told us they don't know what it was, and so we didn't really know where to go from there. In the end, I called my mechanic back in Perth, who's a Ford Transit specialist and the best guy out, and he gave us some pointers of other things that it could be. So we called a mobile mechanic, and now we're just waiting for him to come out. Like from when I first called them to now, it's been like 5 hours. I don't even know if they're going to make it here today before the end of the work day, but we'll see. But we're still really a little bit in limbo. I feel like it's been a true roller coaster of emotions, of like having an idea of what we're doing to having no idea whatsoever. And part of our roadside insurance is that we would usually get like a hotel and like accommodation covered for getting the van repaired. But the problem is that we don't know how serious this problem is at this stage, especially that we've been told conflicting views. And so we want to have our options open to get a recovery tow, to get towed to a mechanic in a major city that maybe knows a little bit more about Ford Transits and is happy to take the time and work on it. And you don't get accommodation covered if you get a recovery tow. It's like one or the other. Who knows, Dylan?
Who bloody knows?
Just got a call saying that the van is fixed. Dylan's just over there playing video games, but I'm so happy. We're both so relieved. Just like a big faff around with the van, with mobile mechanics supposed to be showing up and then not showing up and then falling off the face of the earth, and then just mechanics being booked out for weeks. And then in the end, we literally walked 5 minutes up the road because there was another mechanic there, and we were like, hey, any chance you've got any time to check this out? Help us out, because we've got a good idea of what's going on because we called a Ford Transit specialist back home. So in the end, we pushed the van there. It was like 200 meters up the road, which was still going to be like $130 for a tow. But it was literally 200 meters down the road, so we decided just to push the van, and it all paid off. Got it fixed in the van. We're leaving tomorrow. So happy.
Yes!
That's the most emotion I've ever seen you show.
Yikes.
After the big faff around that ended up just being a sensor needing replacing, we had booked into a hotel and went out for dinner to celebrate.
Radio up and the blinds pulled down.
Nothing feels better than being back on the road after a breakdown. Subscribe so you don't miss our next video as we hit the road to some more iconic Queensland locations.
Downtown, but you bite my lip, don't make a sound. I'll be damned.